warm welcome. It's now time for the news on Hope Channel Zambia. Let's take a look at stories making headlines. Invest Trust Bank in Possession depositors to receive first payment on April 26, 2024. Poachers told to number their days as security is intensified in the national parks. Constitutional amendment not on government's to-do list, Minister of Information has reviewed, and Nyumba District health workers protest against attacks. These stories plus more coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
Friends and family, following the presidential declaration of the drought as disaster and an emergency which has resulted in hunger situation in the country, ADRA Zambia, Seventh-day Adventist Church at union level and other supporting partners are responding to this emergency by supporting affected families with food rations and water point provision for domestic use and crop production. ADRA Zambia is appealing for more support to reach out to more families. Every donation, no matter how small, will contribute to our collective efforts to mitigate the impact of drought and support our communities during this period. Together, we can make a meaningful impact and support our communities during this difficult time as we save humanity so all may live as God intended. To donate, reach us through our email info@adrazambia.org or call +260 767 327 330. Bank deposit, account name, ADRA Zambia, bank name, Citibank Zambia, account number 0251039089, branch, Lusaka Main Branch, Swift Code, CTZMLU. Thank you for your generosity and compassion.
Thank you so much for joining us with the news in detail. My name is Bright Sinkos. Sharna Kufuna is our sign language interpreter. Government has provided 1 billion kwacha fiscal support to attend to Invest Trust Bank in Possession insolvency. The level of insolvency at Invest Trust Bank in Possession is estimated at 850 million kwacha. Bank of Zambia BOZ Governor Denny Kalyalia at a media briefing said Invest Trust Bank has been possessed because the institution's assets are not enough to meet its liabilities. Dr. Kalyalia said the first payment to depositors at the Invest Trust Bank in Possession will be made on April 26, 2024. He said the first payment will represent 90% of all deposits from about 57,000 deposit accounts. The governor further said the maximum payment to be made on each account in the first round will be about 500,000 kwacha. The central bank governor adds that the speed at which payments will be made will depend on how quick depositors share information with the Bank of Zambia to facilitate payments.
To stress that the decision we took was arrived at after all other efforts failed to deliver the assurance. What is the import of this? There is no time frame that is given. The previous provision provided for up to 90 days. Now, what this 2020 amendment did was to allow the bank to move as quickly as it is able to present the statement of affairs. So the 90 days which has been making circles in the media is based on the previous provision. The current provision is that we have to do this as quickly as is practically possible. Under the circumstances, the Bank of Zambia was left with no choice but to take immediate action to prevent disorderly exit of the bank from the financial sector. Our concern is that one day you would just wake up, the bank would not open its doors. This action was to forestall further deterioration of the value of the assets, protect depositors, and ultimately preserve financial stability. It is important to point out here that at the time of taking possession, the shareholding of Invest Trust was as follows. Major shareholder is ZCCM Investment Holdings, which holds 71.4% of the shares. The Bank of Nevis International Limited, in short BONI, but here we are quick to point out that the vetting of this entity is incomplete, but it holds 24.1%. It acquired these shares through an exit of one of the previous shareholders through the Lusaka Stock Exchange. So the vetting process has not been completed. Others account for 4.5%. So that's the shareholding as at the time of taking possession of the bank. The Bank of Zambia is very much alive to the concerns of depositors on whether they will have access to their deposits and on the consequences of suddenly not having access to their deposits. This is particularly so as we all have to deal with the consequences of the current devastating drought and its impact across the economy. After taking possession of Invest Trust, which now we designate as indicated Invest Trust in possession, we engaged key stakeholders, including the government. This was critical because the very fact that Invest Trust was insolvent at the time of taking possession meant that they were not in a position to pay off all their depositors. May I now take this opportunity to assure the depositors that their deposits are safe, as the government will provide support to bridge the gap between the assets and liabilities of Invest Trust in possession. Whilst we are committed to moving as quickly as possible, I must stress that this process will take some time. We are currently working hard to have the statement of affairs prepared within 6 weeks from now, and to have options prepared for how we will resolve Invest Trust in possession. During this period, some payments will be made to depositors, and we expect all depositors to have full access to their funds on the basis of the statement of affairs as at April 22nd, 2024. Once the Bank of Zambia board has decided the resolution option. Allow me now to invite the
Meanwhile, Bank of Zambia Registrar of Financial Service Providers, Francis Chipimo, said the possession of Invest Trust Bank involved the Bank of Zambia sending staff to each of the 20 branches located in 6 provinces to verify monies held by the branches and secured important documents and assets. He said Invest Trust Bank is in possession. Staff at the branches were addressed by Bank of Zambia staff as they took possession, and they have been requested to remain at home while the possession process proceeds. Dr. Chipimo said when need be, selected Invest Trust staff are assisting the Bank of Zambia officials in their activities, and further guidance will be provided to all staff as the possession proceeds. He said the Bank of Zambia is now preparing a statement of affairs to establish the full extent of insolvency of the bank at the time of taking possession. He said the process entails examining and validating the bank's financial records and is expected to be completed, all things being equal, in approximately 6 weeks.
Over a period of 5 to 6 days, staff verified the monies held by the branches and secured important documents and assets. Invest Trust Bank in possession staff at the branches were addressed by the Bank of Zambia staff as we took possession, and they have been requested to remain at home whilst the possession proceeds. Where needed, the staff assisted the Bank of Zambia staff, the staff of Investtrust that is, assisted the Bank of Zambia staff in their activities, and further guidance will be provided to staff as the possession proceeds. As Governor has indicated, the Bank of Zambia is now preparing a statement of affairs in order for us to establish the full extent of the insolvency of the bank at the time of taking possession. This process entails us examining and validating the bank's financial records and is expected to be completed, all things being equal, in approximately 6 weeks' time. The Bank of Zambia is also working around the clock to ensure that depositors receive part of their deposits in the shortest possible time. You will all appreciate that to do this, the Bank of Zambia needs time to conclude the validation of depositors' information, and we will require the full cooperation and patience of depositors.
In other news, some unscrupulous people have encroached into the Lusaka National Parks. National Parks and Wildlife Director Dominic Chinde has warned the perpetrators that the law will visit them in no time. Mr. Chinde says the National Parks and Wildlife will not sit and watch lawlessness taking shape in the land reserves for wildlife by unscrupulous people. He says the premises are meant for wildlife and people should not take advantage by encroaching the land that is not entitled to them. Mr. Chinde has also warned local and international poachers to number their days. He said measures of security in the national parks have been intensified. Mr. Chinde says wildlife brings development and adds beauty to the nation. Esnat Sikazwe has more in this report.
They run to their caregivers to be fed milk and have some water. These are elephants that have come to their new home, Lusaka National Park. Lusaka National Park has restored some animals, among them rhinos, zebras, impalas, axis deers, among others. Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba witnessed this development.
But most of the time, access into the closest national parks, Kafue, Lower Zam, could be a little bit of a challenge. But now we're giving an opportunity to actually access a national park which is very close to the city, within a 10-15 kilometer radius, and you're able to see a number of animals in here. What we've witnessed today is the beginning of good things to come. And I did indicate earlier, I think within some of my interactions with the media, I did threaten that I was going to bring the white rhinos in Lusaka Park, and I'm here to announce that the white rhinos are indeed back in Lusaka Park.
The minister was accompanied by British High Commissioner to Zambia, Nicholas Hooley.
We spoke with some of the team about their ambitions to have up to 25,000 visitors come to the park this year. Already last year that was 13,000, I think record levels. So we're seeing now people both of this city but also international visitors increasingly now come when they visit Lusaka to the national park, which could become potentially the most visited national park in the country. And I'm delighted to see the investment that's being made by the government, by the authorities, by the people who protect the wildlife and the natural habitat of this park.
And National Parks and Wildlife Director Dominic Chinde has a warning to lawbreakers.
We shall continue to strive for zero encroachment, Honorable Minister, and we will ensure that national parks boundaries are maintained as enshrined in the Wildlife Act number 14 of 2015. Our mandate is very clear: to manage and conserve wildlife and administer all national parks without fear or favor. A message to the encroachers: your days are numbered. We are moving in to remove you there. We have that mandate. Also a warning message to the poachers countrywide. Even those international poachers, we are ready for you. The ecosystem that we are preserving is offered, it's not only for the beneficial of the animals, but human beings as well.
Lusaka National Park is the only park in the province that is housing different species of animals, among them rhinos. Esnat Mbewe Sikazwe, Hope News, Lusaka.
We take a break. We have more stories on the other side. To stay with us.
Refresh yourself this April with Topstar. Take advantage of the Tenga Double promotion and enjoy big discounts before promotion ends on 14th April. Quickly, pay 2 months on your Karen bouquet and get more. But wait, and wrap your entertainment box for the latest Filipino series on Novela E+. Watch the Iron Hats, an action-packed series from the makers of Brothers Daily at 20/40 hours. Also experience relationship drama at its best on Pungwa, The Truce, every Sunday at 19 hours. Still want more? Intrigue yourself with an everyday cinema experience by watching Will Smith Gemini on the 10th at 19:20 hours and The Hitman's Bodyguard on the 12th at 21:30, plus all the latest movies on ST Movies Plus. No power? No problem. Download the Star Time Zone app, link your decoder, and continue watching for free on the go. So hurry now. Promotion ends on 14th April. Topstar. Value for your money.
Friends and family, following the presidential declaration of the drought as disaster and an emergency which has resulted in hunger situation in the country, ADRA Zambia, Seventh-day Adventist Church at union level and other supporting partners are responding to this emergency by supporting affected families with food rations and water point provision for domestic use and crop production. ADRA Zambia is appealing for more support to reach out to more families. Every donation, no matter how small, will contribute to our collective efforts to mitigate the impact of drought and support our communities during this period. Together, we can make a meaningful impact and support our communities during this difficult time as we save humanity so all may live as God intended. To donate, reach us through our email info@adrazambia.org or call +260 767 327 330. Bank deposit, account name ADRA Zambia, bank name Citibank Zambia, account number 0251039089, branch Lusaka Main Branch, Swift code CTZMLU. Thank you for your generosity and compassion.
Did you know that you've got the right to complain against any radio or television broadcast? Did you also know that every radio or television station has an obligation to respond and address your complaints when aggrieved? The first step is to complain to the station not more than 3 months after the broadcast took place. It is expected that the station will respond reasonably to you, that is within 14 days. If not satisfied, then escalate your problem to the Independent Broadcasting Authority.
We're at Mass Media Complex, Ali King Carter Road, PO Box 32475, Lusaka, or call us on +260 211 250589 or visit our website at www.iba.org.zm. IBA, promoting ethical and professional broadcasting.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. And now for the rest of the news. Government says the issue of constitutional amendment does not sit as one of the top agenda items or priorities on government's to-do list, as government is prioritizing resource mobilization to address the impact of drought affecting the country. Responding to demands from the Oasis Forum that called for immediate action on constitutional reform and a national referendum, Chief Government Spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa said the pressing need to tackle the current crisis is the drought situation, which was declared a national disaster, saying constitutional amendment does not sit as one of those matters. Speaking during a government weekly update briefing from Choma yesterday, Mr. Mwetwa said the national budget has been significantly impacted, with resources redirected towards addressing critical shortages in food, electricity, and livestock disease control. Mr. Mwetwa, who is also Choma Member of Parliament, urged the Oasis Forum to adopt a more collaborative approach in advancing national matters.
Currently, constitutional amendment does not sit as one of those top agenda items or priorities on government to-do list. This is because presently, as a nation knows, the country is faced with an unprecedented severe drought, which has led to a declaration of national disaster. Meaning, therefore, and it has followed, that the national budget for this year has been consequently affected through realignment of resources from line spending agencies into responding to this national disaster. Therefore, government's priority presently, priority number one, is to mobilize local and international resources directed at responding to this national calamity, particularly in the areas of food, in the areas of water, in the areas of electricity, in the areas of disease control for our livestock. That is a priority of government, and therefore would like to invite the Oasis Forum to join the efforts of government responding to the emergence need of the moment, which is the national disaster. That is where we must place premium as to what must be done. Therefore, presently, there is no known constitutional amendment process that is actively, in motion to warrant that government must provide a roadmap to the same. There is none. So, we cannot provide a roadmap to a constitutional amendment process which is not active.
Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Henry Kapata has commended Chifubu Constituents Member of Parliament Lloyd Lubosha for prudently utilizing the Constituents Development Fund CDF by taking development closer to the people. Mr. Kapata, who is on a quest to tour the 4 constituencies in Ndola district on the Copper Belt, says he is delighted with how CDF has touched diverse sectors through infrastructure development, such as the construction of maternity wing, court and police station, among many other projects to improve people's livelihoods. Zanis reports that the Information and Media Director spokesperson was speaking during his site visit tour in Ndola district. Mr. Kapata disclosed that President Hakainde Hichilema is excited when he sees development such as clinics and maternity wings like the one in Twatasha area in Chifubu constituency. He echoed that he has observed prudent utilization of CDF in Chifubu constituency, which is made evident by the diverse infrastructure development exhibited recently. Mr. Kapata noted that with the construction of the Chifubu Local Court, which is in a process of being upgraded to a magistrate court, will help in quickening and decongesting court cases and delivery of justice to the public. He reiterated that the police post that has been built at Chifubu Market is like many other CDF projects in the constituency, will lessen criminal activities at the market and surrounding areas. Meanwhile, Chifubu Member of Parliament Lloyd Lubosha appreciated government for taking development closer to the people. Mr. Lubosha disclosed that over 700 infrastructure projects have since been implemented in his constituency under the 2022 budget allocation. Mr. Lubosha stated that people in his constituency have seen benefits of CDF in so many sectors, which include construction of classroom blocks, procuring of desks, and youth employment schemes, among others. Meanwhile, Ndola Mayor Jones Kariati and Town Clerk George Mulenga appreciated the visit by the Information and Media Director spokesperson. And finally, in our news, Nyumba District health workers have embarked on a peaceful protest to the District Commissioner's office after 2 attacks on health workers by unknown people in the district. Health workers marched from Nyumba District Civic Center to the District Commissioner's office while shouting, "We want DC, we want DC." The health workers exclaimed that their lives were at stake as their colleagues were attacked in the comfort of their homes. This comes shortly after their colleague Amos Chama was on Friday, 29th March 2024, shot dead by unknown people at home while watching television with his family, and was since put to rest on 2nd April 2024. Few days after the burial of Chama, another health worker's house curtains were set on fire twice in one night while she was asleep. And District Commissioner in response, Paul Daka, has assured the health personnel and the community at large that he has engaged the District Police Commissioner to protect the lives of the health workers, who are mostly the target.
Nyumba District health workers have gone on a peaceful protest demanding for peace and protection from the law enforcers after 2 separate attacks on their colleagues by unknown people. The first incidents happened on the 29th of March 2024 when Mr. Amos Chama was watching television with his family. It was at this point when he was shot dead and was put to rest on the 2nd of April 2024. A few days later, after Mr. Chama's burial, another health personnel's house curtains were set on fire twice in the same night as she was sleeping. The health workers with their placards are demanding to be transferred for fear of their lives.
Our home, our second home, is a place where we work. We spend much of our entire lives there. And we are not people like maybe other people where they do something else. We offer health to even those criminals that are killing us. So how are we going to help them? Because we understand, according to our code of ethics and according to our government laws, that we're supposed to offer a quality health service even to a criminal. But these criminals, they are coming to a person that is offering them a health. So are you telling me that we're going to be performing according to our standards? Because if we meant negligence, we can do that, but which we are not going to do because we are not qualified to be negligible to the community. So please, we really need your answers in as much as we are prepared to address us. we'll still ask you these questions. Thank you.
Eastern Province Police Commanding Officer has assured health personnel of heightened security in the area. The District Commissioner, Mr. Paul Daka, has called on members of the public to assist the police with information that will lead to the arrest of the culprits.
We just used to do normal patrols, but this time around, the lives are at stake. They should be intensified. They should be intensified to make sure that at least in our town, there's traffic. Okay? So, I think the officer in charge is there, listening. Also, the DGOC is there. We shall talk to them over the same. Need for police officers at the police office, at the hospitals, both hospitals. Yes. Okay, I've taken note. I've taken note. They are hearing. I will emphasize to make sure that at least, yeah, it's true. In case of anything happens during the night, maybe the same guard with the same person can come and threaten you or do anything. We really need, I think, security. I think we can talk to them so that they can give more guidance. When you report the matter, it takes a bit of time to respond. Yeah, it's true. If they don't respond on time, they lose lives. Let me explain. I think on that, we should address it. As he mentioned, to say they should pull up their sources, I think we shall try to talk to them. We shall talk to them so that at least they can be responding as quickly as they could. This time around, there's no excuse because government will put what they may do here. So on that, I think we shall talk to them so that wherever there's an issue like that, they should be responding promptly.
However, no arrests have since been made, citing investigations are underway. Meboch Timbiti, reporting for Hope News in Nyimba District, Eastern Province.
As we end the news, let's recap on stories making headlines. Investrust Bank in Possession depositors to receive first payment on April 26, 2024. Poachers told to number their days as security is intensified in the national parks. Constitutional amendment not on government's to-do list, Minister of Information Cornelius Mwetwa has reviewed. And Nyimba district health workers have protested against attacks. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Bright Sinkos alongside Sharon Akufuna, our sign language interpreter, on behalf of the studio and production team. Keep watching Hope Channel Zambia, television that changes lives. Bye for now.